Hello, Riaz, and thank you for taking the time to sit down and do this interview with me. I think first and foremost, for myself and everyone at the Root Academy, just like to say welcome to the team. For anyone that isn't aware, you've joined us as our Olympic Root Academy head coach. So you're going to be leading and overseeing the new full-time academy out in Maryland, USA. So first of all, congratulations. I know you're going to be the perfect man for the job. So just sort of your initial first reactions to that news and how you're feeling after the announcement and just sort of your overlook on everything on that end.
Thanks very much. And yeah, a nice warm welcome from you guys, as expected. Yeah, it was very exciting, actually. I mean, I nearly missed the deadline to apply. I sort of saw last minute and got in, and then was very, very happy to get interviewed and stuff. And it's almost like it's come full circle because I coached both Root boys at Sheffield Collegiate. So it's nice to be involved in something that has their name and to sort of develop that side of things, also in a very exciting market in the US, which is, you can see, is only going to grow and grow. So yeah, very excited to sort of get involved and do as much as I can to make it as successful as possible.
And I know obviously you've sort of got history with Bill and Billy, and you've worked with them in the past. But in terms of this role specifically, what was it that attracted you to this position and working out in the States?
Yeah, well, particularly working with the Root Academy, obviously from a distance, I've always kept abreast of what they're doing and the work they're doing everywhere, and stayed in touch with a few people who are involved. But particularly the fact that it's a sort of a new market. I don't like to use business jargon for cricket, but that is the case, that it's a new area really that the sport can grow. And I'm all about trying to grow the sport because cricket isn't very big globally, really. I mean, the numbers that people throw around are mainly because of the market in India that sort of skews it. If you took out India and looked at the rest of it, it isn't actually that big. And so anyone who works in the game, and I certainly feel that, is important that you try to grow the game. So this is an area which is very exciting. And then they've just announced that it'll be in the Olympics in the US as well. So it's even more exciting. So yeah, that's really what drew me to the role, an opportunity to get involved from the ground up and sort of put your stamp on it and do the best you can for the game.
I'm sort of well aware of your experience as both coach and a liaison officer, and anyone that knows you is. But for anyone that's not aware, could you just sort of give a brief overview of sort of your experience as a coach and who you've worked with? Because like I said, for anyone that doesn't know, your CV really is impressive.
Yeah, so I started coaching from a young age and actually got very lucky to end up at Sheffield Collegiate. So I'm from South Africa, originally in Cape Town. I coached at Wynberg Boys, most notably in Cape Town, Wynberg Boys, which is Jacques Callis's old school and one of the best cricket schools in the country. And also coached at my old club, Victoria, for a long time, and then moved to the UK full-time. Thankfully through essentially a scholarship through Michael Vaughan. So the club got me to study at Sheffield Hallam because they wanted me there full time through the winter to run all the coaching programs. And I was there for about 10 years and then moved south and coached at a club called Berkhamsted, where I was phenomenal. It was very interesting that the chairman moved from paying players to using that money to pay a coach and then develop, the community side of it. And we got 4 successive promotions in the seniors. We grew the junior section. The girls section is absolutely booming now. So yeah, and in terms of coaching that side, I had a short stint as coach of Morocco in 2012, which was really exciting. And they've got, that's just with a bit of help that the sport could be a decent size there as well. And then in terms of my liaison roles, I'm currently in India working with the Netherlands. This is my 12th ICC event covering World Cups, 50 over and T20. I've done both World Test Championships with the India side. And then also done the Champions Trophy stuff. And then all the teams I've worked with, once they've realized that I have a coaching background as well, they've been quite happy to involve me in things on the coaching side. So with the Netherlands now, the coaches are happy for me to, help out with the fielding drills and things like that. And then the access to players, and, players are happy to chat to you about their game and things. So yeah, not just sort of sitting on the side doing logistics, but getting stuck in as much as I can and learning as much as I can from these guys. I mean, there's no better place to learn than, an international change room in a tense test match, or, Netherlands beat South Africa the other day, and to be in that change room was fantastic. So the stuff you learn and then to impart that into your coaching is fantastic.
And obviously with that, you worked with some of the best players in the world, and also worked with young players looking to develop their game. So in terms of your coaching philosophy, does that change when working with elite players and younger players, or is your mindset towards cricket coaching stay the same throughout?
I think for me, it stays the same throughout. You treat everybody the same. And then what you notice when you working in this environment at the top level is that the players keep it very simple and the coaches keep it very simple. I've often seen coaches do really complicated drills for batting and bowling and fielding, and all they do at this level is keep, sort of absolutely nail the basics. So you'll see a coach throw underarm feeds to batters to this level, and I've seen coaches at the lower level never want to do that. All they want to do is get the sidearm out and throw it at 150 k's an hour, and it doesn't serve any purpose. So really, I'm a traditionalist, cricket traditionalist, and so I teach the basics as much as I can, and they get the players to do that, and then you add the frills to it, rather than trying to do the fancy stuff first, and then you can't play a swinging ball, or you can't bowl 6 balls in the same place because you're trying to bowl 9 different slower balls. So it's very interesting that I've sort of always been like that, and then to have that reinforced when you work at this level, to see that actually that is a good way and probably the right way to do it, it gives me sort of great comfort in my own space, because I didn't play the game professionally. So there's always that side that I have to work twice as hard as anyone else to sort of get the respect and credibility from players at a high level, because I haven't been there myself, but show them that I do have the knowledge and I am able to help them in different ways.
And obviously the Olympic Route Academy is a brand new full-time academy, obviously out in the States. How exciting is it for you to be able to put your own spin on it and implement your own ideas as the head coach, obviously looking to improve players, but also the logistics around the academy and all that comes with that?
Yeah, I think for me, that's very exciting. I enjoy being involved in every part of it without being a micromanager. So, I do like to give people responsibility. So within a sort of a framework of what we're trying to achieve. So going there, I mean, obviously I'm going to come over to the UK and learn from you guys on your philosophies and stuff, but I'm 100% certain that it aligns with my own, and then to go there and sort of spread that word and say, look, this is how we see cricket. This is how we'd like to coach. This is the systems we put in place and the values that we have. If anybody wants to come to the Route Academy, that's very exciting, and very exciting from my part to then, to plant those seeds and then see how it grows. It's something that I think if you speak to people at Sheffield Collegiate, where, we started with 20 kids on a Friday night and it went to 150 kids. The same at Berkhamsted, that if you go in and you put the right systems in place and you have the players' interest at heart, really, to be honest, it's not about, I've never been about trophies as a success, if I'm honest with you. If you look at the clubs I've been at, we haven't really won a lot, if I'm honest, in terms of, winning leagues and things. But for me, a win is keeping someone who's at 14 years old and considering quitting the game. If he's still playing at 25, that's a win for me. So those sort of things, because that keeps the game strong. And I've often said, I've never had a problem if a player came to me and said they were changing clubs. I was disappointed that they were leaving, but they were staying in the game. So that was fine. But if a guy came to me and said he was giving up the game, then I felt like I failed that person and the game. So that's really where I come from, that if someone's playing cricket for us and they come to the Route Academy and maybe they feel it's not quite for them and they choose to go somewhere else, that's actually okay for me, because they're still playing cricket. But if they came and they were so disillusioned because of what we were doing, then I'd have to take a serious look at myself and our coaching team and say, look, where we've gone wrong here, because we should be instilling a love of the game for it, and they might not quite like our methods and prefer someone else's, and that's fine. But they're still playing the game. So I never want to lose someone from the game, but I don't mind losing someone from, wherever I'm working. It's as long as they're playing, I'm happy.
Definitely. And just sort of on the back of that, obviously, I think it would be fair to say your philosophy is all about getting people to enjoy and love cricket as much as I think yourself does. I think that would be a fair thing to say. And obviously, at the Root Academy, our vision and our goal is just to encourage as many people from different genders and ethnicities, cultures, to play and love and enjoy cricket. And obviously, with our academy going out into the States, that is an exciting time, because it's, as you sort of touched on earlier, it's a market that is growing by the day, but is still quite low in comparison to other countries such as India and England, really. So just moving ahead to that and the academy, how will your philosophy change for players that might be at the start of their cricketing journey?
I think the people that we've got to put in place and make sure that all the coaches that work for us understand that, firstly, you got to instill a love of the game, right? So you're getting kids in, and they've got to understand that this is a wonderful game to play. It's all, unique things where you can be, it's a most individualistic team sport, because you bat on your own and you bowl on your own, but you do rely on the fielders. You do rely on your partner to run runs for you, those sort of things. But if we can instill a love of the game to start with, by ensuring that the coaching at that level is fun and interesting and engages them, then that's half the battle. Because I always feel that if you have a love for the game from a young age, whether you follow as a spectator, you keep playing, or you're a coach or a scorer, then that's a win, and you'll always be involved in the game. And then as kids get older and show more interest in being serious about the sport, then you challenge them a bit more. And then, the really elite ones, you sort of assist them in their path to try to get to the top. So there's different layers to it, but really at the basic, if someone comes to you, whether they're 6 years old or 14 years old and they're new to the sport, the first thing you got to do is get them to love the game and see how wonderful it is. And you do that by engaging them, by teaching them in a really, really relaxed manner with no pressure whatsoever, and get them to understand how the game works, the laws of the game, and all those things. And that's, like I say, that's half the battle, because we can't force people to come to us. We've got to create an environment where people want to come to us, because they hear that the coaching is of a high standard, yes, but also because we're approachable, and we create an environment where it's real fun. You're coming there and you're going to learn, but you're going to have fun. You don't even realize while having fun that you're actually learning. Especially, that's especially key to new people to the game. And then, like I say, the different levels you go up, you can challenge them more, and be more technical and that sort of thing.
And last week we hosted an online webinar with yourself and players that have already committed to the Olympic Route Academy, and it was incredibly informative for everyone was there. But just want for the people that aren't aware or maybe interested in applying to join the academy, in your own words, Riaz, what is a cricketer joining the Olympic Route Academy under the coaching of Riaz Richards? What's their experience going to be like?
You're gonna have a fun experience learning about a wonderful game in the shortest way of doing it. My coaching style is not dictatorial. It isn't about, it's not going to be a classroom environment. In a lot of places you coach in England and South Africa, where kids are very respectful and call you sir. I don't like being called sir, because immediately that sets a sort of tone. I like being called Riaz, and I also know kids call you all sorts behind your back. So I'm quite happy to be relaxed about that environment, and the parents will be engaged as well, because I always say a 5, 6-year-old, 7-year-old, they learn as much because they spend a lot of time with their parents. They learn from the parents. So I'm very happy to teach the parents what they should be doing, and do it that way, and say, look, play in your back garden, and this is what you got to look for, and help them. These are the sort of drills you can do. And that builds a relationship between the parents and the kids as well, rather than a coach and kid parent where they drop you off and the parent has no idea what's going on. So they'll come to the Root Academy and they'll get elite coaching where necessary for the ones who show the interest. They'll have very basic understanding of the game for those who are new to the game, so they don't feel overwhelmed when they first come in and like, oh my gosh, I don't understand this sport. It doesn't make any sense. It will be very, very basic that we are focusing on. Come in, learn what it takes, and you'll have a very happy environment, very relaxed environment, very friendly environment, and an open one where parents can chat to me. I love talking about the game. So, if you want to come to me and talk about the game in general, you want to talk to me about your kids specifically, I'm very open to all of that, and I'm happy to do that.
I think that's brilliant, and I just want to reiterate how delighted we are to have you as part of the Root Academy team, and I think all of us really can't wait for the players and as you said, the parents to experience being part of that culture that you set. So once again, welcome, and we'd like to have you on board, Riaz.
Oh, brilliant. No, I'm very excited to get started. I can't wait. I've seen a bit of the facility already, and just looking forward to getting there and starting off and meeting everyone there.